Hello everyone, this is Fanny Menardi. This is a special message for the Swedish Royal Academy of the Nobel Prize Committee. So today is a special for the Economic Science Nobel Prize that I'm campaigning for Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. I felt like it was a call for me to join. I've been really honored to participate to this campaign. It was very nerve-wracking, I'm not gonna lie, one day after another, but now I see that there is a cosmic order, and of course having your mentors, your ancestors, your masters being crowned, you know, is chronologically logical. Please stay online and watch this whole entire conference because it's going to be incredible. I'm going to show you some of their books, other books, prophecies that connects with what I saw online in the pages. There is classical literature, so I know it's really high level. Like I never entered really that world of classic literature. I did that when I was in France before going to the university, but now reading all these passages and the intention that we have to put in all our visuals. So I have my papyrus, I have my flower seeds set in stone. So I'm trying to do all the little details and think about perfection, just to make it funny and to make it nice and beautiful, but also really interesting. So first, I want to address your comment, which is completely true. The idea that when everything is going well and we're on the win, everybody's beautiful and such a good energy, and when we lose the next day, it's everybody's heartbroken and we start fighting and, you know, and pointing fingers and everybody's horrible. And it's just true. This is just how we humans deal with trauma. You know, I've been here without my family for many years now. I've been stuck financially, so I haven't been able to go back to my country very much. I have a lot of emotional support online, but when you look around and it's empty and the money is not coming in, you see the progress, but you're like, when am I gonna make it? When is it gonna be my name? When am I, you know, all this art that I painted is so valuable. It just breaks my heart. Like Dean Graziosi says, he says, it'd be more painful to give up at some point than to keep going, even though you have to risk it all. So I'm going to read a little extract of his book, actually, that corresponds perfectly to that. And you will recognize some of the stuff that you posted. Because you know these guys, they're time travelers. The first time I heard about Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins, I had just made a video in my house to present the paintings. And I was saying, be careful, do not attempt without the presence of a time traveler. And then I started seeing their ads, and you know the synchronicity. When you call onto something, it appears. Like when I was younger, I was reading those little white magic books, you know, where you learn the masters of the elements. You're calling upon the guardians of the elements, of the north, the east, the south, the west. And I was here, I was 14 years old, and putting the salt all around me, you know, in circles in my house, drawing like pentagrams and stuff. And I was imagining that it was going to be like the movie Charm, you know, you have like the curtains start moving and I'm going to see some like light beings coming in my living room and nothing happens. I was like, this is garbage, it doesn't work. And so then I gave up. But I still read about it. I was always passionate about aliens, about all these paranormal activities that more and more we prove them through science. Now it's called quantum science, quantum physics is becoming the real stuff. So all these crazy things that used to be, now they're becoming completely normal. But then I realized over time that these calls that I had placed when I was younger, then it started to happen when I went to Bolivia and I saw the lights on the Titicaca Lake. One night, Esteban, he was trying to call his dad on WhatsApp and he was sending messages, dad, pick up, call me. And all of a sudden, there is a giant thunder that breaks the sky open on the Titicaca Lake and the blue lights start coming down. And they come down the sky and they're floating all around the Titicaca Lake. I have videos. Look at my very first Instagram video. in my page, Moonstone 420, go see the very first Instagram video. I have them on camera. I took this video, there's no edits. So I knew it was possible to have this free energy because I've seen it naturally. So how do we replicate it? Because as humans, we need to model what nature gives us. And so just like the medicine, you replicate from the plant, the molecules from the plant, and then we make the chemical medicines. So it's the same with the energy. If we find the recipe, then we can make it happen. And it's the same with the psychology. It's the same with the breakthrough, with the healing. If you can find the key, the recipe, then you can multiply it and give it to everyone. So this is what Dean and Tony Robbins, they do. But to go back to this healing, well, I'm running for my life, guys. I'm running for my life. And yes, they've let me down many times. When we were climbing, they were always pushing me, encouraging me. They never let me down for that. The emotional support, always. But when I was in real pain and I went, or even when I showed up to their event, where to bring them some paintings. I was there at the studio in Florida, Tony Robbins' studio. I entered the door, the coordinator told them, yeah, I'm one of the speakers for the event. They let me in and stuff, but they stopped me right at the door. And just like what happened for the literature prize. So I was like so heartbroken, and every time I've tried, to go in, it was always like, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. What you got, and every time I wanted to give up, every time I was like, this is unfair, this is not good, but am I not here in front of you today and you are listening? I really feel like people are listening. Sometimes I post random stuff, like nobody's watching. I have like 100 followers, and then I see them like, oh no, people are watching. So I'm gonna be careful to what I say. So did they not bring me here? So even if it's difficult and I risked it all, and I'm in my deadline running for my life, but we're here talking in front of the most genius, intelligent committee in the entire world for the Olympics, of knowledge and excellence. So that's an honor. So let me read an extract of the Underdog Advantage. And also then, one more thing before I start. If you feel like your ancestors, society evolves, so we have to evolve with our time. So if you feel like your ancestors, sometimes they have certain ways that don't correspond to you or to the new society you want to create. You don't have to repeat exactly. You can be better. This is why I posted, I'm better than you, because the stuff I don't like about the others, I want to do better. This is why when I promoted my literature prize, I promoted everybody else. And then I was like, maybe that's what took me to my downfall. I should have thought about me first. And I was like, yes, but I'm not like that. I'm not going to take all the credit for something that we all did together. I was like, I want to be what I believe is right. And they believe that it's right to make people grind and to show and to dig deeper into their strengths. I don't know if we're going to find the divine hidden, molecules, tiny atoms, because this is where it's hidden. But they have their own strategies, and it can only take you to who you are then. And then you alchemize this and make it your own sauce, your own recipe. Okay? So yes, I don't know if they're going to go and buy this beautiful painting. I've tried to sell it to them many times before. But if they win the prize, maybe then they'll be like, you know what? Let's pay the price now. It's not a sale. It's a bill. Okay? You're going to buy the painting from me if you win. That's a bill because that's my prize for the campaign. So Dean says, I had cars to fix, houses to remodel, and all the rest, but I canceled all of it. I just said screw it and went all in, just like me today. My friend Marina, she says, stop all the internet stuff, refocus on finding roommates, on what you have to do right now. And she's so right. She's so right. I'm going to do that too. Pray God and keep swimming toward the shore. Don't spend the money you don't have. Don't make plans on things that are not here. But if you don't swim towards those dreams, how are they going to manifest? How are you going to believe it and make it real? So you have to find the balance between stay realistic and, man, I don't want to settle. I want to be a dreamer. I want to make those dreams come true, you know? So I keep trying. Tommy was emailing me every day. David and I were talking on the phone constantly, and both were really nice to me. I got someone to help me create a formal business plan and made sure it had all the different parts of the plan, the charts and graphs and our splits, and how we would run it, and all of that. I finished it and FedExed it to Tommy and David, just like I'm gonna FedEx this painting. Then I got on a plane to LA to see David. His office was right on Sunset Boulevard, and I knew David was a famous attorney, but I had no idea just how famous he was. His office was covered in memorabilia and pictures of him with all kinds of super famous people. I had gotten lost in the work before getting to LA, so I didn't have time to feel anxiety then. But as I stared at pictures of the most famous people on earth, all with this lawyer I was about to meet, all that anxiety came back. I was still 26 at that point, feeling insecure and really out of my league. Eventually, the receptionist told me David was ready to see me. I walked into his office and he was just as nice as he was on the phone. Dean, I have to tell you, this is impressive. Your whole proposal was great. I want to do this. So I really feel like this is what happened today. I was telling you they're time travelers, and I saw that little car on the classical literature page. I was like, let's do that. Let me introduce. So this was just the introduction. Where to start? So let's talk about the book of Tony Robbins. Since he's the main character we're promoting today, his main book, Life Force, okay, that he wrote with Peter Diamandis and Robert Hariri. This is about regenerative medicine. So it's really cool. For example, he says there was never been a greater time to be alive. And he's talking about a leader in gene therapy for rare disease who says the time is now. We have an opportunity that historically has not been possible over the arc of human history to use the tools of gene therapy and eventually gene editing to create a better life at minimum and perhaps completely transform and save lives. We're trying to lead a revolution, dragging tomorrow into today, bringing gene therapy to patients who need it now. And it's true, I can't wait another year for us to have a win, guys. I'm about to lose my house. Do you imagine the patrimony, the paintings, all these books, all this knowledge, years and years of content that we've been sharing? Like, if I'm out of the game, like for me, this is the end of my life. For some people, maybe it's going to change a little bit. They'll be like, oh yeah, that was cool content. And maybe, yeah, that was an essential piece, but everybody can do it because we've been teaching how to do it. But for me, that would be the end of my world. If I don't have this, like, this is my passion, you know? So he's talking about editing the errors in our DNA. The more we know, the more we realize there is to know. It's exactly what we were talking this morning about humanity and the divinity. Once you figure out that everything in the microcosm, your cells, the way your immune system, the enzymes, you know, enzymes of stress or adrenaline, endorphins, all the stuff that you produce in your system, your triggers, the way you react to things, these are all linked also to your own experiences and your culture also. But you realize that we are kind of programmed already by our cells, by our genetics. So we kind of have to go counter our own nature if we want to make real breakthrough in our life. This is why the mentors are important, to really find our divine, our higher consciousness, our higher next level of life, basically, how would they say. So yes, we're recoding that. So I love that he's a mentor, but he's also into medicine. Yes, medicine, and they're also humanitarians, activists for human rights. They have given millions of dollars to our rescue, which is Operation Underground Railroad, which is a former FBI agent who left the FBI because they were too restricted by the laws, okay? So they couldn't, you know, there's protocols, everything, just like in a school, there's protocol. And so he created his own organization to go and work locally, you know, internationally, but with the local police and to stop human trafficking and to dismantle human trafficking networks. They gave millions of dollars to that. They gave money for schools in Africa, for hospitals in the United States. They gave a billion meals to feeding America. So that's Dean and Tony, because Tony has the famous masterminds, events, Unleash the Power Within, Date with Destiny, oh my God, Business Mastery. I mean, so many, you know, I'm probably forgetting like a ton of them. But Dean is the CEO of all his organizations. And let me tell you, if you don't have someone to bring you the people, to sell the products, then you have great stuff, but no one to see it. And it takes so much time. So that's why teamwork is so important. Art without the eyes to see it is nothing. The art lives through your eyes. This is why we always have to be so grateful to our audience, to the people who do listen to us. And we always forget, we want to talk, but we forget to be grateful and to thank and to honor the people who are building us and who are cheering for us. So I'm grateful for that. So once again, if you're watching, please stay. I'm going to read more stuff. So he says other things. So I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read the whole book. Okay, I'm not a heavy reader like you guys. I love to write, but I rarely have time to talk, to read, because I'm so busy. It would require just me calming my mind and reading. I'm never calm. I'm always on anxiety. Look at this one. This is so funny because they always integrate the hermetic knowledge into their. There's never politics, there's never hermetic knowledge, whatever, but they always integrate it subtly to their research, to their books. So you see here, he has like a little vortex opening, which by the way has happened to me before. Okay, I don't want to bring aliens again, but when I was in Peru, I had literally that same vortex open over my bed, all right? I'm a doctor from the future with revolutionary health advice. Exercise, drink plenty of water, and eat your veggies. Okay, go back to the simple things. No, but he's talking about chronic disease and mostly, well, preventive medicine, but regenerative medicine. So what was he saying about this tool? Oh, I lost the page. He was